Last November, 4 University of Idaho students were found stabbed to death at a rental house in Moscow, mere hours after posting smiling photographs together on Instagram. Here's a timeline of the case so far. At 8:57 p.m. local time on November 12, Gonzalez posted for the last time on Instagram. It was a picture of herself and the 3 other slain students standing together arm in arm on the porch of a house. The 2 other surviving roommates Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk were also in this picture. "One lucky girl to be surrounded by these people every day," Gonzalez wrote in the caption. That night, Chapin and Kernodle went to a party together on the university campus, while Mogan and Gonzalez went to a bar in town. In the early hours of Sunday morning at around 1:41 a.m., Mogan and Gonzalez were seen stopping by a local food truck for a late-night bit to eat. They took a ride home from the downtown area after visiting the food truck. The driver dropped them off at their home at around 1:45 a.m. Meanwhile, Chapin and Kernodle were seen at the Sigma Chi fraternity house, and also returned home around the same time. The 2 other surviving roommates had also been out on Saturday night and returned to the property at around 1 a.m., police said. Multiple calls were made from the phones of Gonzalez and Mogan to the phone of Gonzalez's former longtime boyfriend between 2:26 a.m. and 2:52 a.m. Between the 2 best friends, 10 calls were made, but none were answered. More than an hour later, a white car appeared in surveillance video in the neighborhood. The victim's house was on a dead-end street, but the white car, identified by investigators as a Hyundai Elantra, could be seen passing by the house several times, including at 4:04 a.m. One of the victims, Ms. Kernodle, appears to have been awake at the time, having just received a DoorDash order. Her phone also indicated that she had been using the TikTok app. One of the surviving housemates reported being awake around that time as well. She told the police that she had heard sounds upstairs that she thought were from Ms. Gonzalez playing with her dog. She told investigators she also heard what sounded like crying coming from Ms. Kernodle's room, down the hall from her own on the 2nd floor, along with a male voice saying something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." The surviving housemate said that she looked out her bedroom door to check on the noises, and was stunned to see a man in black clothing and a mask walk past her, toward a sliding glass door at the back of the house. The housemate told the police she went back into her room and locked the door. What she did next was unclear. No one called the police for more than 7 hours. Law enforcement officers arrived at the house at 11:58 a.m. on Sunday after getting a 911 call from the cell phone of one of the surviving roommates. The 4 victims were discovered stabbed to death in their beds on the 2nd and 3rd floors of the house. Investigators who arrived at the crime scene found the knife sheath with a U.S. Marine Corps logo lying on the bed next to Ms. Mogan, who was found dead in the same bedroom as her longtime friend, Ms. Gonzalez. A male-touch DNA was found on the knife sheath. At about 4:20 a.m., the white Elantra could be seen in video footage driving away from the neighborhood, investigators said. The DNA from the knife sheath had not matched with anyone in law enforcement databases. This eventually produced a more extensive profile that enabled the use of genetic genealogy, through consumer DNA samples, to build a family tree. By December 19, FBI agents had begun focusing on Mr. Kohberger. As police closed in Bryan Kohberger, the graduate student made his way across the country with his father, driving from Washington to spend the holidays with family in Pennsylvania. Indiana police pulled the pair over twice during their journey. Finally, at around 1:30 a.m. local time on December 30, local police and FBI swooped on a home in Pennsylvania, and arrested a 28-year-old criminology graduate student named Bryan Christopher Kohberger. The suspect, Bryan Kohberger, 28, who was a PhD student in criminology at a nearby university at the time, has offered an explanation for what he was doing on the night of the killings. In a court filing, his lawyer suggested that he was out driving alone around the time that the attack occurred, in the pre-dawn hours of November 13. Investigators have said that they used cell phone tower data to track Mr. Kohberger's phone on the night of the killings, and obtained surveillance video that showed a white vehicle like Mr. Kohberger's repeatedly circling around the victim's house that night. The authorities have not detailed any motive for the attacks. He is scheduled to stand trial October 2, but a judge announced this week it could be moved to November if Kohberger's team need more time to prepare. Although some things still remain unclear as to why the roommates took 7+ hours to call authorities, and can touch DNA be reliable to pin Bryan Kohberger as the killer? What do you think about this case so far? Let us know in the comments below.